Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Next Door to a Star, the Star Series Book 1 by Krysten, Lindsay, Hager, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. The school year should end right after spring break because all anyone can focus on is summer vacation. You can't learn anything new because all you can think about is all the fun stuff you're going to do once you don't have to get up at the butt crack of dawn. Summer always seems full of possibilities. Nothing exciting ever happens during the school year, but maybe during summer vacation you could run into a hot celebrity and he'd decide to put you in his next music video. Okay, it wasn't like I knew anybody that happened to, but my grandparents did live next door to a former TV star, Simone Hendrickson, and Simone was discovered in an ice cream parlor one summer. Of course, she lived in LA at the time and was already doing plays and commercials, so the guy who discovered her had already seen her perform. But hey, it was summer, she got discovered, and that was all that mattered. Amazing stuff didn't happen to me. You know what happened to me last summer? I stepped on a bee and had to go to the emergency room. They're not going to make an exciting Netflix documentary out of my life. I didn't go on exotic vacations. Like today, I was being dragged along with my parents to my cousin's graduation party. Most people waited until at least the end of May before having a grad party, but Charisma was having hers early because she was leaving on a trip to Spain. I was dreading this party because I didn't want to listen to everybody talk about how smart and talented Charisma was, making me feel like a blob in comparison. But my mom RSVP'd even though I said I'd rather die than go. My death threats meant nothing. But still, for some strange reason, I had a feeling this summer was going to be different. We pulled up to Charisma's house, and I lagged behind my parents as we went to the backyard. My grandparents were already there, sitting by the pool. "Too bad Hadley didn't bring her bathing suit," Grandma Daniels said to my mom. I had seen the whole bring your swimsuit thing on the invitation, but there was no way I was putting on a bathing suit and getting into a pool in front of people. And thank goodness I didn't, because it was a total high school party. When my cousin Donnie graduated, he had like 50 old people there and only 3 of his friends. But this was a total teenager party, and there was a big difference between me, a 9th grader, and a bunch of seniors. Right now, sitting at the pool, the gap felt even bigger as I watched Charisma and her friends looking like models. When I left the house this morning, I thought I looked good in my white and pink striped shorts and my paint-splashed t-shirt. It was the cutest thing I owned, but I might as well have been wearing Oshkosh overalls since I was surrounded by senior girls wearing bikinis. And not even the regular kind, but the ones with cutouts on the side that had the metal things holding them together. I was way too short and skinny to wear something like that. "Hadley, Charisma has some old suits if you want to try one on," Aunt Shelley said as she passed a cheese and cracker tray around. No, I'm fine, thanks though," I said. No way was I getting in a bathing suit around all these high school girls who looked like goddesses. I'd like to think I looked at least my age, but I couldn't forget the first time I walked into my history class, and the teacher told me the 8th grade class was in the other wing of the school. It was mortifying when I had to tell her I was actually a high school student. I sat on my patio chair and watched one girl getting out of the pool. It seemed like 50 guys offered her a towel. She was tan with dark hair, super exotic, and pretty much the complete opposite of pale, dishwater blonde, short little me. Even without any makeup and her wet hair plastered to her face, the guys were drooling over her. There was also a couple who were completely making out on the side of the pool right in front of my grandparents. Aunt Shelley announced the food was ready, so we went inside. I noticed most of the girls stayed by the pool. A few walked in and stole a grape out of the watermelon fruit basket, but none of them got a plate. Meanwhile, the guys were piling their paper plates full of baked beans, ham, potato salad, and whatever else they could fit on there. I always felt self-conscious about eating in front of people who were older than me. Not adults, but teenagers. Aunt Shelley told me to go sit with Charisma and her friends and walked me over to where the girls were sitting. "This is Charisma's cousin, Hadley," Aunt Shelley said. The other girls barely looked up. "Are you guys all seniors?" I asked the girl sitting next to me. "Yeah," she said. "Charisma, can you hand me another Diet Coke?" Seriously, Kylie, it's been like 4 seconds since your last one, Charisma said, laughing. Can I get one too? I asked. So what are we going to do tonight, you guys? Charisma asked. Scott said we could go to his house. Can you pass me a Coke? I asked again. Charisma popped a grape in her mouth and adjusted her swimsuit. I saw her reach over to get a can of soda and sighed in relief, but she popped the top and took a long drink. Charisma, can I get a soda too? I asked louder. She stared at me like it was the first time she had seen me all day. I swear she wanted to ask when I had sat down with them. She glanced behind her into the cooler. Oh, sorry, Hadley. This is the last one. There's probably more in the kitchen if you want to go. I got up and walked to the kitchen, but there was a bunch of senior guys right in front of where the drinks were on the counter. I turned and went back to where my grandparents and parents were sitting. Hadley, you have to come stay with us this summer, Grandpa said, reaching past me to get a napkin. You could spend time at the beach and go out on the boat with us. I shifted. He meant well, but it wasn't the kind of person who went to the beach a lot. I was more the type who sat in the shade with a book in the privacy of my backyard. Why don't you come when school gets out? He said, and then reminded me that the actress Simone Hendrickson lived next door to them. Trust me, I hadn't forgotten. Oh, and did he mention how Simone used to be on the TV show Duncan's Corner? She was also in a TV movie, did a bunch of commercials, and was in a workout video, and was gorgeous with her round blue eyes and perfect blonde hair. Not like my blondish watercolor hair. You didn't get a chance to know her when you were there last summer, Grandma said. It would be fun for you to have someone closer to your own age around for the summer. Maybe she was forgetting the fact when she introduced me to Simone. Simone glanced at me, said, "Hey," and then told her mom she had to meet her friends at the beach. It wasn't like I expected her to hug me, yelling, "Let's be best friends!" But maybe she could have held back the yawn. I knew she used to be on some sitcom, but did she have to be so stuck up? Simone used to play the youngest daughter, Tegan, on Duncan's Corner. The show was pretty popular, but I hardly ever watched it because it came on the same time as Video Request Countdown, which was hosted by Jack Broger, my favorite singer. I glanced around the pool. Why couldn't Charisma have guy friends like Jack? It seemed like real high school boys were nothing like the guys on TV. The real ones were scrawny with broken out skin. If Jack were here, though. Hadley, do you want some cantaloupe? It's full of fiber. Helps you go to the bathroom, Grandma said, interrupting my Jack fantasy. I shook my head. It was probably better Jack wasn't here. He'd probably be flirting with the dark-haired girl or Charisma and break my heart. My Aunt Faith was lying out on a pool chair looking bored. She had her legs out in the sun, but the rest of her was in the pool house so she wouldn't get sunburned. Hadley, I read in Style magazine a lot of celebrities vacation in Grand Haven, Faith said. You should stay over. Who knows who you might see? Seriously? Like who? Well, a couple of the girls from Duncan's Corner came to visit Simone, and the actress Jerrica Adams came with her husband, and a bunch of singers like Kevin DeGarmo, Alfonso Carrera, and Jack Broger. I sat up in my chair. Seriously? Jack Broger? She nodded. My friend saw him out on a boat last year, she said. He rents a cottage on the lake. Cottage? Grandma snorted. The place where he stays is so huge that you wouldn't refer to it as a cottage by any means. Faith nodded and said there was a big gate with a security guard out front. We tried driving past it, but you can't see much except the outline of that place, and it is huge, she said. Time to rethink the whole spending the summer with the grandparents thing. I looked over at my mom, who said, I'd be happy to get rid of you for the summer. Well, if Jack spent time in Grand Haven, then I had to visit my dad's family this summer. I called my best friend, Lexi Irvin, as soon as I got home to tell her I'd be spending the summer in a place where Jack vacationed, and then I mentioned Simone. Oh my gosh, Hadley, Lexi said. It would be amazing to live next door to a star over the summer. Yeah, but Simone probably hangs out in clubs or something. I doubt we'd hang out or be at the same places. Yeah, but Simone probably hangs out in clubs. Well, those beach towns are small, so I'm sure your paths would cross, especially with her being so close. True, but let's be honest. I'm not exactly the Simone Hendrickson of the 9th grade. I don't get invited to parties or have a closet full of designer clothes or whatever. You do have a great best friend, though, she said. Yeah, well, at least I do for another week until you leave for Dallas. Don't remind me. Exactly 5 days, she said. I can't believe I have to start over again as a sophomore. Everyone says it's so much harder to meet new people when you transfer in high school. I'm sure you'll meet a ton of new people, I said. Lexi was funny, friendly, outgoing, and everything you'd want in a best friend. I was more worried about how I was going to handle starting over on my own. I was way more of an introvert. I stared out the window as I thought about what life would be like without my best friend since the 4th grade. She was the kind of friend you could communicate with by exchanging glances. I can't believe you're really going, I said. I mean, we talk or text every day. Who is going to like the pictures I post online of my breakfast? Lexi cracked up. We're still going to talk and text every day, and I promise that even if you post a picture of your half-eaten cereal, then I will like it. I knew she believed that, but I also knew she'd meet new people and, well, forget about me. Listen, I gotta go and make sure my boxes are labeled for the move. I'll see you tomorrow, she said, hanging up. The greatest thing about having a best friend was having someone always there for you, even when you make a fool of yourself, like back when I tripped in front of my entire class while accepting my spelling bee trophy, although Lexi told me no one even noticed. And every dodgeball day I ever had in gym class pretty much made me an expert in humiliation, but we were always in it together. However, now I was seeing the downside of having an exclusive best friend and always being with just that one person, because it apparently meant I didn't have a lot of other people to turn to when my BFF moved away. I sighed and reached to my desk for a piece of gum. My mom had warned me about hanging out with only one person all the time, but no one else got me the way Lexi did. Now it felt like I was going to have to start all over, trying to fit in with another group. Sure, I had other girls I talked to and messaged occasionally online, but I didn't have a group. I didn't fit in with the super popular girls. I wasn't smart enough to hang out with the brains, and I wasn't athletic enough to be friends with the girls on the basketball team. At least, going away for the summer meant I wouldn't have to sit home feeling sorry for myself.